All right, folks, back here on Inside Analysis from Boomy World in Chicago, old Chi-Town. And I'm with one and the only Michael Bachman, a research director over at Boomy. And he's got something to say about Boomy Companion, which is your little pal, right? Boomy Companion? Tell
Boommy
us about
Companion is like the friend that you've always wanted,
it.
here, ready to go. Imagine having an expert Boomy developer on staff that designs processes, Boomy processes,
hmm
just like the most expert Boomy human would, Boomy developer human would.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so it's like a co-pilot, but it knows all about Boomy and workflows and how to connect things and all that fun stuff, right?
Yeah, so it's similar. So what we have is a very, very well curated set of skills and plugins that coincides with an agentic sort of front end.
hmm
And so whether you're talking about Claude Code, whether you're talking about Codex, whether you're talking about Cursor, whatever your developer assistant tool is,
hmm
that's an agentic builder, I would say.
hmm
That coupled with these amazingly curated skills allows you to render processes like we haven't done before. And some of the advantages we're getting out of that, well, first of all, they're immediate. Second of all, it's real. Third of all, it doesn't cost anything. You can
hmm
download it.
Right.
It's open and available to users to be able to use and build on the Boomi platform.
Right.
The ultimate advantage is you can take advantage of AI as it is now
hmm
with all of its stochastic creativity and novelty and plug that into a system of record that's an integration system of record like Boomi and allow deterministic processes to be in your canvas, in your Boomi canvas, be completely auditable, completely changeable, keeping the human in the loop the whole time. But we're really dealing with speed of value from all the way from prototype to production.
And for the lay person out there who doesn't know what these skills are these days, can you explain what a skill is like and how that maps into Claude or one of these other AI models?
Absolutely. So a skill is what I like to think of as code in kind of a human language.
hmm
And that is accessible to anybody. But they're typically markdown files,
hmm
which contain a whole bunch of directions, instructions, and file indices to where Claude can quickly and easily, or Claude or any of these other tools, can quickly and easily go and access data, processes, definitions, all of the things.
hmm
And so the better and more well-defined the skill is, the greater the effectiveness of the overall agentic system.
hmm
And so if you have a skill for Boomi integration, as an example, you're going to want to have all of the API calls that are necessary for the platform.
hmm
You're going to want to have the best practices associated with Boomi, maybe in a separate markdown file that's referenced in the master
hmm
markdown file, which is the main skill. You may want to have plugins and other utilities that you want to associate with that particular system as well. You
hmm
can package all of that up and give that skill easily to something like Claude Code or Codex, any of these
hmm
developer assistant tools.
And in the Claude world, that's the MD file, right? Which
Yep,
which stands for Markdown.
Markdown.
And
That's right.
it's in English, it's in language, or you can use a different language, I suppose, but we would use English. And you explain what you want it to do. Like for pulling in data, you do X, Y, and then Z. It's specific instructions which the LLM then absorbs and uses to manage its engine, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what's nice about it, because it's in human language, the idea is anybody can create a skill.
hmm
So now development of systems is completely democratized.
hmm
And the nice thing is, we've been talking about vibe coding for a year and a half, 2 years now. Um, Vibe coding is great for ideation, but where it needs to go into reality is in a system of record
hmm
or in basically an enterprise system for business like Boomy's that's going to be able to create deterministic processes off of that vibe coded front,
hmm
front idea design.
And with Companion, you've taken a whole bunch of these skills and you've packaged them up, and people can just go and download them and pick and choose what matters for them. Can you give us some other examples? Like what are, besides data ingest, for example, or API calls, what are some other examples of what a skill would look like and what it would do?
Yeah, so some other skills could be you could incorporate in a skill repository or in a plugin, you could incorporate images. sounds, different files in your file system. You could open up different protocols like MCP to be able to target, backend systems.
Hmm.
You can expose API wrapped tools that you build.
Hmm.
And so these are a lot of examples of what we would do for not only data ingestion, but process process definitions as well. And what that means is you can basically create this ecosystem in a human language and using files that are accessible by this thing created in this skill created in human language to be
Hmm.
able to do pretty much anything you want to.
That's so wild. So basically, the idea is you are democratizing functionality.
Completely democratizing functionality in probably any language on the
Hmm.
planet.
Right.
So I'll give you an idea. I was in Malaysia 3 weeks ago.
I heard this story, by the way. Go ahead. I heard
It's
about it.
it's so great. So a colleague of mine and several colleagues of mine and I were on a boat in Malaysia with government officials, and they wanted us to prototype a Citizen 360 app while we were
Okay.
there.
All right.
And in 26 minutes, we built a full stack application based on a business level prompt,
Wow.
not even technical design, like what we would do as architects to try to define the problem in terms of how technical output could be generated. We
Mm.
didn't have to do any of that.
Wow.
That was all left to Boomi Companion.
That's crazy.
And so we designed a full stack API, documentation in Bahasa Malaysian as well as English,
Wow.
and a front end that we put over the top of it so we could interact. Even though it was a prototype, we still interacted with the different data that was synthesized with this particular process.
That's
26 minutes later, we create a full stack app
that's crazy.
on a boat in a lake in Malaysia
Right.
with 37 people, 34 of whom were non-technical.
That's hilarious. That's amazing. Well, because with the skills, I'm guessing you can also bake in certain specific protocols or process methodologies that are unique to your company, right? Such that you
Absolutely.
you publish that, then everyone who then uses them, because the cool thing with these LLMs is they can read and they can absorb text and then act upon that. And if you're precise in the text you give them, they'll be more precise in what they do.
That's right.
And that's why it's almost like a set of best practices for developing apps in your unique environment, right?
That's right. Exactly. So we give a base level of best practices, documentation of how to build and design in Boomi.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, again, well curated. I'll get to that point in just a second. But if you bring all of your knowledge into this into this ecosystem with you, that's only going to enhance what gets done. Because as you said, the more precise the input, the better precision on the output.
Hmm. Well, and it also allows you to adhere to corporate policies, for example, and to have
Mhm.
consistency. One of the guests we've had on the show, a very, very smart lady, Dr. Lisa Palmer, she was saying, look, guys, stop just throwing random prompts at these things.
Mhm.
Come up with a set of determined prompts because that way you can detect drift. You can detect when there are changes. And so when the model changes, like there was a lot of hubbub when ChatGPT changed and they threw out all the old models. Remember this? Like,
Mhm.
okay, it's only the new model.
Yep, that's
And
right.
that's going to give you some slightly different answers, probably. So at least you're prepared for that because you've had your baseline, right?
Yeah. And I think one of the reasons why AI adoption is desired, but not always implemented to production
Mm-hmm.
is because it's lacking the consistency of output given the inputs.
Right.
And so this is what's going to be important for users going forward. How do we take advantage of the chat bot or the chat interface that we have in front that can give us this very nuanced approach to an
Mm-hmm.
answer to
Hmm.
a problem, and then maintain the consistency afterwards. And that's what we're doing in the Boomi platform with Boomi Companion.
Right. And again, this is free to download. There's a URL. What's the URL? Do you know off the top of
I
your
don't
head?
know off the top of my head. It's on GitHub though,
Look.
but
Okay,
we can
just
get
look for
back.
Boomy Companion,
Boomi
basically. Just
Companion on GitHub, and it's right there. Yeah, I'm
yeah.
I'm pretty excited about it. It's a game changer. If you're a Boomi customer, you gotta have this.
Right. Right. Well, it's best practices that you can learn from others. I mean, we've always had that kind of thing, but to have it so granular and specific and in plain language, that's the thing. So business people can read it and understand, hey, wait, we want the policy to read like this or like that. Technical people can come in with their particulars as well, and they are separate skills. And so you map all these skills out and you have like your glossary of skills basically, and that's what allows you to get that level of specificity that you need in order to get things done correctly, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is cool stuff. Well, folks, podcast bonus segment's coming up here in 1 second. Send me an email if you want to be on the show, info@insideanalysis.com. We'll be right back.